Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I want to walk you through a game of Shadow Priest, and a lot of you guys are going to be very happy to hear that. I have seen a lot of comments talking about when I'm going to be playing Shadow Priest, when I'm going to be playing some Disc Priest. I uploaded some Disc Priest. This is the first time I've played Shadow this expansion. Now I'm playing Shadow Priest, Restoration Shaman, Moonkin, and we're fighting Discipline Priest, Feral Druid, Frost Mage. And in this game, I am playing with Edge of Insanity, which means I'm going to be taking 20% less damage when I'm at 60 or higher Insanity. So, you are not going to see me press Void Eruption very often. Right away in this opener, I just want to explain what's going on. They polymorph my Shaman. I'm going for the Mass Dispel, of course, to MD my Shaman out of the CC, and the Mind Control comes out onto me, so it gets interrupted. So, well played by the enemy team to keep us triple CC'd. Going for the Massive Spell. Do actually get it between that next Massive Spell, so it looks like my Moonkin will be fine since my Shaman is out of that crowd control. Now, they actually mind control me a couple times off the edge down to no man's land outside of range of my Shaman, so I am in a little bit of trouble. And it's the incarnation from the Feral Druid as well, so I hop into that Dispersion. Not the best opener. If we actually coordinated to stop that mind control, I probably would not have to have dispersed right there, but I did, and that's okay. I'm a pretty tanky target once I'm above 60 Insanity, and boom, there I go, above 60, and I have that edge buff. Now I'm taking 20% less damage. And I do want to quickly mention, I am not playing in voice, I'm not playing in Discord or anything like that, so we're just kind of doing some no voice chill 3v3 games. I think the MMR might be around 24, 25-ish, we'll see at the end of the game. And the objective for us is to survive, spread pressure, and we're pretty much just 3 tanky targets, so it's difficult for the enemy team to actually score a kill onto us. I'm throwing shields out, I have life grip, I have mass dispel, I have off heals, I have life swap, I have fear, psychic horror, previously disarm, silence, right? Mind controls. I just have so much control, and I have so much support as a Shadow Priest. Now the damage is okay. It's actually some decent scoreboard damage, right? At the end of the game, it's gonna look like I did a good amount of damage. However, you don't have, it doesn't feel like you have a ton of damage within the game as a Shadow Priest right now, and that's not why you bring a Shadow Priest to your team. You're not like, oh, we're gonna bring a Shadow Priest so we absolutely just kill everything, right? No, it's more about the support that it brings, the utility that it brings with the setup potential, right? You can horror the guy that you're killing, silence the healer, maybe into a fear, life grip your healer out of a trap, like mass dispel, life swap, all of these things add up to the class being very, very fun, even though the damage itself is a little lackluster. So the damage rotation, for anybody wondering, is just you're literally getting up your vampiric touches, okay? You're using Mind Blast on cooldown, and if all 3 have Vampiric Touch and Mind Blast on cooldown, assuming you're outside of go, you're not doing a setup, and Shadow Word Death is on cooldown, or they're not in range for Shadow Word Death, then you're just pressing Mind Flight. That's the damage rotation. It's not crazy difficult, right? But from there, then you have to be like, okay, what global should I rebuff in? Stamina. What global should I offensively purge? What globals should I maybe shield my teammate? Like you see here, I just shielded the Shaman because he was getting a little low. What globals should I actually set up burst with, like Horror, Silence, Mindbender, right? Stuff like that. So the damage rotation in itself isn't that difficult, but there's a lot of decisions being made throughout the game that are a little more difficult than that. So this is a setup that we do for a kill window, right? We silence the healer, we horror the DPS. This is just like deep blanket kill back in the day, right? So we silence horror, damage is coming out from my Moonkin. I use Mindbender as well because the Mindbender's on that 1-minute cooldown. Both these are 45-second cooldowns, so we're actually getting that damage out with that Mindbender. That's some big burst. And we force out the Trinket Wall from the Feral Druid. So we're going to be continuing to do goes like this throughout the game. But like I mentioned previously, that's not our primary objective. It's not like RMP where it's like, okay, let's win in 3 or 4 goes, get cross CC, run, and reset. It's quite the opposite. They are trying to do that. We are trying to survive. And then in the meantime, we're just getting out pressure and goes when we can. But number one comes survival. I accidentally almost Vampiric Touch my Shaman, target him and purge him. That full Polymorph comes out, trying to get that Massive Spell out, but I didn't quite have enough mana. Now I got Mind controlled. My Moonkin's getting low. Now, if my Moonkin gets too low, I can Life Swap him. I still have that in my back pocket, but I just fear the Mage. We bash the Feral, and my Shaman is out of CC, so it looks like he's going to be okay for now. Couple things I want to mention, too, on the Shadow Priest, guys, since I have 5 level 120s, guys. I have 5 level 120s. I have 3 Mages, a Rogue, and a Priest, okay? My Necklace artifact level right now on Xaryu's is only level 17, okay, which is a little low. On top of that, my traits in this game, I think I was playing with 2 discipline traits and 1 shadow trait. The 1 shadow trait I had, garbage, all right? Not the trait I'm looking for. I think the Shadow Word Pain trait is the best in PvP currently. I don't have that one. So I guess a big side note to this whole video is my necklace is level 17, my item level is 340, so my first game of Shadow Priest, and I don't have any of the shadow traits. So we're only going up from here, okay? This is like the bare minimum of the Xaryu's gameplay. However, I did have a lot of fun. I must say, the damage rotation might be a little boring, right? Because you never press Void Eruption. So previously, you'd press Void Erupt when you got to 60 or 100 energy, whatever. You'd press Void Erupt, and then you'd have Void Bolt spam, and you'd have to kind of manage your insanity well, choose when to Void Erupt, and it's just another big choice. And I actually like that, right? I thought that was pretty cool. With this spec, with Edge of Insanity, you can't use Void Erupt or you're going to die, right? I used Void Erupt a couple times during our queue session, and I think out of those couple times, like maybe I did it 3 times, 2 out of those 3 times I died just from pressing Void Erupt. And the reason is, you take 20% more damage, you're a really squishy target, it's hard to get back into 60 plus insanity range if they just spam kick you, and then you just die and when they train you. So be wary of that, right? And I think Shadow Priests are getting a rework in 8.1, and we're going to see 8.1 probably in another month or 2. I guess I don't know the exact timeline on that, but we're going to see 8.1. Shadow Priests are getting a rework, and hopefully this changes, right? And they said a big rework, like a class rework, class redesign almost. Blizzard kind of mentioned that they're not super happy with where Shadow Priests are at, and I actually like where Shadow Priests are at. I like that they have Disarm. When I say Disarm, I mean Psychic Horror. I like that they have Horror, Silence, Fear, Mindbender, Life Grip, Swap. Like, they have a lot of really fun and cool tools. I guess my big problem is just the Edge of Insanity build is very one-dimensional because you just never go into Void form. And it just makes it feel, the damage rotation just feels a little lackluster. You're literally spreading dots and pressing Mind Blast, and then spamming Mind Flay if they're all dotted. Like, that's, you know, there's just not much to do offensively. So I hope, I actually really liked the game, the playstyle of Shadow Priest with Orbs. I don't see them bringing Orbs back, but I would be happy if they did. But regardless, I would like to see Edge of Insanity not have to be played every game. And then if we barely get the swap off there on Shifter. Nice. We barely survived there. I would like to see Edge of Insanity not played every game. Maybe only versus teams that you felt were really hard to survive against. So maybe against like a Turbo, Enhanced Warrior. They're training you all game and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go Edge of Insanity to be a little tankier and give up some damage. But like right now, it's like you die if you ever don't play Edge of Insanity. So you have to. And then if you don't play it, you die. Right? So it's almost just like you're forced into this pick. That's a little boring, okay? And then if you don't pick it, you die. So it's just, yeah, I would love to see some cool things with the Shadow Priest rework in the next patch, in 8.1, the next big patch. And they've already said they're doing that, so that's kind of coming along. Now, we're all stacked here for Orb, and this is like a Frost Mage dream right here, having that Blizzard Orb on top of the entire enemy team. So CMD is having a fun time, throwing out some mind controls, trying to just gain some type of control over this situation. I have my burst combo ready, right? We have that Psychic Horror and that Silence. I have Mindbender in 14 seconds, so I might be potentially working on that. Another side note is Purging, offensively Purging, right? It's very similar to Mage's Spellsteal, where you can't just purge all day or else you will go I think it's 5 or 6 purges before you go out of mana, similar to Mage. And I have to save my mana for things like Massive Spell. Cast Massive Spell, I fake the counter spell, but it does actually get feared anyway, so I actually get stopped on that Massive Spell attempt. We go for that Horror Silence there with the Mindbender for that extra burst. And after playing this comp a bit more, I think that doing burst setups onto the healer is actually a very good strategy as well. So I could do something along the lines of Fear the Feral, disarm the priest, cyclone the mage, right? Triple CC, and then we would disarm the priest into maybe a half bash, into maybe a silence, and with that go, we would have the priest pre-rotted with Vampiric Touch and Shadow Word Pain. We would have the Mindbender, and then we have the Boomkin Burst into there. So that's kind of how we'd create pressure. Now, the point of a priest go wouldn't be to just necessarily kill the priest, or wouldn't even necessarily be to force every defensive cooldown in the game, but it would be while we're going on the priest, like right here, we're going on priest, he's not healing himself. I wanted to get the Horror into silence, but I did get polymorphed. I got peeled there on that go. But the goal would be, he's not healing himself, of course, because he's CC'd, so he's getting low, obviously, but his teammates are also rotting, right? Feral's taking a bit of damage, Mage is taking a bit of damage, and since they're both rotting down, now all of a sudden we're in a position where Priest needs to catch up on healing. They play a little more defensive, trying to catch up, and then boom, we do it again, and now they're still behind from the last go, and then we just spiral the pressure into our favor. Now, that's kind of the goal. Polymorph comes down into my Shaman. Throughout the Mass Dispel, another Polymorph comes out, throwing the shield onto Shifter, trying to stop this MC in one way or the other. And this is what I kind of mean by Priests, Mages have or Shadow Priests have a lot of control. Silence, my Boomkin is very low. We silence the Mage, we disarm on the Feral, right? We can use these things defensively if needed, and peel for our team. So they're not only tools for offensive goes, right? Silence the Mage, he trinkets, mind control the Mage, Psychic Core, the Feral. We're controlling the whole game here as the Shadow Priest role, which we haven't seen in quite some time because we haven't had Horror, we haven't had like Life Grip, we haven't had a lot of these tools in other expansions, or at least for a few expansions. And now that we have these back, it's really, 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 really fun to play once again. So I am quite enjoying it. Now we're getting some more pressure here onto the Priest. He's at 50% life, 20% mana. We're looking pretty good on our mana total right here on our Shaman, and we have a lot of defensives. As I say that, I think this is the moment where I hit Void Eruption, and look at, like, I'm not kidding with you guys. Look at this. Mind Blast, Void Erupt right here. I Void Erupt. They haven't hit me the whole game, remember. They've been on my Moonkin the whole game. They say, oh, look, Priest Void Erupt, swap to him. Look how much damage I'm taking. There's nothing really hitting me. It's just a Blizzard from the Mage. Feral hits me a couple times. I get to 30, 20, 10% life, and I have to disperse. This is why, guys, you can't really Void Erupt without dying. It's crazy how much damage I take. They didn't even want to go me, but they just went by me and accidentally forced a dispersion. From here, I'm like, shoot, what did I just threw the whole game just by pressing Void Eruption once. Like, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. But at this point, I'm just trying to do anything I can to survive. We have some more defensive, like, peels, like the Fear, the Psychic Core, the Silence coming back up. So hopefully we can get back above 60 Insanity, so we get that 20% damage reduction back into play. We use the Fear, the Silence, the Horror there. They're back on my Moonkin, thank goodness. I'm mind controlling all over the place, just trying to do anything I can to stall out this game a little bit longer. We're back up to 30 Insanity, 50 Insanity, 56, and boom, 67. So now we're feeling good again. All right. That was a little sketchy, not pressing that button ever again, but now look how tanky we are. We're in the orb, we have no life swamp, we have no dispersion, but all of a sudden I take 20% less passive damage, and that is a big deal, right? All of a sudden I become incredibly tanky. I almost feel like it's a little too tanky, like perhaps it's bugged and it's doing more than 20%. I don't know. It feels like if I'm an edge, I can't die. I'm invincible. They never even force dispersion. And if I'm out, I die instantly. It almost feels like it's doing more than intended. It's reducing more than 20% damage. I don't know. That's just some weird guess, but it just feels like I'm invincible without it, which, by the way, from the enemy point of view, isn't that fun, right? It's not that fun to fight an invincible target. So I do think Shadow Priest, at least the edge aspect of Shadow Priest, should just be changed or nerfed. I know I've talked about that a lot in this video, but it's not fun for the enemies to be slamming their head into a brick wall like, we can't kill this target at all. This is the point, guys. It's 44% in dampening. They're all rotting. Mage 9%. Throw out that Shadow Word Death. He gets that 1% ice block. Shifter's getting very low. He's counterspelled. I'm doing my best job to just spread as much damage as possible. We have Dispersion back up in 5 seconds. We have that Mindbender back up, the Horror and the Silence back up. Guess what? That's going to be a kill once we actually get to use everything. We Horror the Feral Druid here, trying to get that Silence out on the Shadow Priest. We use all our cooldowns, throw out the Deaths, and they all pretty much, at this point, they all pretty much die, right? Shadow Priest, or the Disc Priest Zoom, 50% dampening. We got to get that Mind Control backpedal there on Donnie C. And that was a fun game there. Obviously, a lot of concerns with Priest, but having a lot of fun with it. Here's MMR, 2500-ish. Once again, damage breakdown. My damage on the overall scoreboard isn't bad. It actually looked pretty good, but it's just a lot of that rod pressure. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you did not enjoy the video, let me know by giving it a big thumbs down. Talk to me in the comments about what you guys think of Shadow Priest design, things for moving forward in 8.1, and what type of videos you guys want to see in the future. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.